Joining me right now is Michael Lewis, who wrote Moneyball, in which the movie was based, as well as The Blind Side. His newest book about the worldwide global financial crisis is called Boomerang. And so, by the way, I love what Aaron Sorkin was able to do with your book. I love Moneyball, by the way. I'm not even sure what it was about. It was about something bigger than baseball, but we can't talk about it here. It's just too deep and cosmic for me. There's something grand about it. Shortly, though, can you tell me quickly, in a sentence or two, what was Moneyball about, and then what was Boomerang about?
At its heart, Moneyball was about the way markets, even the markets for baseball players, misvalue people and the way people get misperceived. And I mean, it's an astonishing story that baseball players can be systematically undervalued, and that some team can come along and take advantage of that. And that's at bottom what it was about. And Boomerang is really an extension of a book I wrote published a year ago, The Big Short, about the financial crisis. I mean, I think what you're seeing down on Wall Street is an expression of the fact that the financial crisis never really ended. The debts that were the bad investments that were made by banks have been effectively nationalized around the world. And you've got now sovereign states that are not credible financially. And you see on the horizon...
I'm sorry, what are the people up in those buildings and those well-appointed offices looking down on these people thinking right now? Are they a little scared? Are they chuckling at it? What do you think their emotional reaction is to this craziness we're looking at? Some of this stuff, people being pushed around by the police, a guy down in a crouching position. What are they doing up there and thinking in the high rises?
If I had to guess, it would be that they think it doesn't concern them very much yet. I mean, put yourself in the position of someone inside a Goldman Sachs or a Morgan Stanley. You've had your way with the world. Your firm would have been out of business, but for taxpayer intervention and support. You got restored to health, and then you proceeded to wreak havoc with any attempts to reform you. What are a few people on the street going to do to you? I think that there'd be wrong to think that, but I'm sure that they're viewing it with some indifference.
Well, let's talk about this election coming up and what this boomerang means here. I keep reading the market every day, and every day I ask somebody from CNBC or somewhere, what the heck's going on? Because it seems to me that Obama can't move the unemployment rate. It's around 9. He's not going to get anything through Congress the next year. It seems like what's going to drive the unemployment rate are these international realities, the European mess, Greece. What do you worry about in the next year? Well, let me ask this. If you were Obama and Gene Sperling, his economic advisor, sitting in the White House right now, what would scare the heck out of you between now and next November?
Well, you're right. He's not going to get anything through Congress, and so he's going to be dealing with a high unemployment rate no matter what happens. But the thing I'd be scared of right now is another banking crisis, and it's triggered by a Greece default or even an Italian default. I mean, the banks own large amounts of sovereign debt, and the minute one of these places goes down, and especially if it goes down messily, if Greece announces tomorrow that you're going to get 30 cents on the dollar back on Greek government bonds. French banks, German banks come under attack. And they're interconnected with our banks. So you're back exactly where you were in 2008, where you have to choose between letting the financial system go down or coming in and looking like you're friends with the fat cats on Wall Street. And I think if I had to guess, that's what they're afraid of, that they're going to have to be put in that position again, and it will show that these institutions are still too big to fail. They can't let them go down.
All the effort to try to bind up and perhaps reform Wall Street after Bush left and Obama came in, all that stuff around the time of TARP to try to clean up the system with Dodd-Frank and everything really left us still at the whim of the big shots.
We're still vulnerable, yes. The situation is a little different, but still, basically, if Goldman or J.P. Morgan or someone walks into the Treasury tomorrow and says we're insolvent, we need help, we're not going to open the doors tomorrow, I don't think the Treasury is going to have any choice but to do what they did all over again, and that would I would think, a political problem.
So even if we had a socialist running the country, I know that people call Obama, but a real socialist, somebody really on the left, Bernie Sanders, somebody who was really proud of his left-wing status, if they were running the country, could they have any more leverage than that? Or do we just have to do what the big banks tell us they have to do because they're screwing up? I mean, does anybody have any control in politics that isn't already trumped by the power on Wall Street?
Not right now, but this could change pretty rapidly if Elizabeth Warren gets elected to the Senate. That's one of the things the protesters could do. They could pick up candidates. I mean, if people who actually understand that what needs to happen is that these institutions need to be broken up, we're at their mercy until they are. Those people get into power. Who knows? The situation can move very quickly. And especially, look, if we get ourselves in a situation where we're bailing them out all over again, I imagine there's going to be enormous political pressure to do just that.
If we had Teddy Roosevelt as president right now, a real trust buster, a real progressive reformer who knew how to do it, could he break these giants into smaller pieces so the American people could be a democratic society again, economically speaking? They could
absolutely.
Do it.
I don't see why it's only hard because of the influence of money in the political process, because Wall Street had such sway in the discussion of how to reform them.
I smell it every day. Thank you, Michael Lewis. Thanks. I'm glad to know that at least it's possible if we get the right people running the country.